This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 299 Aussie Mac Zone. That's 299 with a big one next week. Get in early before Apple does, because their show, they'll have a thing the week after, I think. Zarn, how are you, buddy?
Fantastic, Michael. 299, very exciting.
Yes, excellent. Tonight we're brought to you by Tart. That's the audio roundtable, and BLB Creations. Keep giving them a rap, we'll be right.
That's it.
Now, our Aussie Apple ramblings this week. Apple has released a firmware update for iPod's second generation. The firmware of the AirPod, sorry, I said iPod, didn't I? For AirPods, the AirPod service parts will be different from the customer's AirPod. If the firmware is unmatched when setting up replacement AirPods or charging case, the status light will flash amber when the setup button is pressed and held and will not flash white. This is expected behavior due to firmware being unmatched. So to allow the firmware transfer to happen, follow the instructions on the link below. So yes, we've got that.
Yep.
So people, it's just one of those things we try and keep you up to date with. And now, here's an interesting one. Facebook's Clear History tool doesn't actually clear anything.
Imagine my surprise.
And I think even the American government's actually stopped them from releasing it anyway because they don't want them to delete stuff. It's finally here, more than a year after Mark Zuckerberg took the stage at Facebook's 2018 F8 conference and announced plans to create a Clear History tool that would let users remove browsing data from Facebook. The company has something to show for it. After numerous delays, they're now starting to roll out the Clear History feature. The catch doesn't actually clear any of your data at all. Instead, the new privacy feature will allow users to disconnect their off-Facebook activity from their account, meaning their browser data will be separated from their account information. This will help reduce some kinds of targeted advertisements, but it won't actually remove any of your data from Facebook servers or prevent the company from using that data. And Facebook will still track people who don't use its services at all. In a blog post, Facebook engineers suggested the reason they opted to disconnect data rather than to delete it entirely is because deletion would be too time-consuming and possibly unreliable. But they're engineers. Aren't they supposed to fix things that are unreliable?
As unreliable as them keeping our data.
That's right. Attempting to delete information from various databases across many different tables and rows would take time and may not work reliably. The quicker, more reliable method would be to disconnect it directly from a person's account. So why not disconnect it and then go through the process of just letting it delete in the background? But anyway, what do I know?
Yeah.
Think about that. For Facebook, which holds more than $40 billion in cash and hires some of the best engineers in the world, actually removing users' data is simply too hard. Now, somewhat confusingly, the feature, which will initially only be available in Spain, Ireland, and South Korea,
I'm sorry.
it'll still be labeled Clear History in the app. So isn't that false advertising?
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why it's not released anywhere else.
That's right.
Now, I know we're picking on Facebook, and I know we actually use Facebook for convenience, but yeah, maybe after 300 that might change too.
For convenience.
Yes. So here we go. All right, so we'll go on to our next story, which is it's a product called Samsung DeX, and that brings Android apps to your Mac or your PC. Now you can now run a desktop version of Android on your Mac or PC using a brand new Samsung DeX app. It's free to use and plays nicely with the computer's existing keyboard and mouse, but there's a big catch. DeX is one of Samsung's more brilliant features, one the writer has been wishing Apple would steal for iOS. It turns your Galaxy smartphone into a desktop computer running a scaled-up version of Android. Now, some big apps support desktop mode in DeX, like Acrobat Reader, Photoshop, Skype, and the entire Microsoft Office suite.
That's
and everything else will run as a mobile app in DeX mode.
Wow. That's cool.
It is. It's very different. Trouble is, you need a Galaxy Note 10 or a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Hasn't said whether it'll be opening up to other handsets in the future, but for now, you need those phablets. And if they're that big, why do you need to connect it to your computer? But anyway.
Did you just call it a phablet?
Yeah, that's what they are. The phone tablet, because they're so big. Yeah.
A phablet.
Now, you can still take advantage of DeX on the Galaxy S10 and other recent Samsungs. All you need is a monitor, keyboard and mouse, and DeX compatible dock to connect to your phone. So there you go, something a little bit different. And it works with Apple, of course, straight up.
Excellent.
Now, don't forget, I'm confusing you here, Zarn, because I'm going to talk about Tart now.
Yep.
Even though that's not the order I've put them in up here.
It's the order I have. It's okay.
Now, this week we are brought to you by Tart. That's the audio roundtable with Garth, friend of the show. And I'm sure he'll be here next week.
Yes.
Yes. So the audio roundtable podcast. That's right. Get plenty of chat. And I'm expecting Glenn here next week too.
Oh, good stuff.
So that will be good. That'll keep you busy. More people to flick between.
That's right.
So yeah, the audio roundtable podcast. Just keep you up to date with anything to do with audio. And it is a challenge. I must admit. So now gaming. I think that's you, isn't it?
That is me.
What do you got to tell us?
Well, so 9 to 5 Mac reported that the price of Apple Arcade. Ready? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
The price of Apple Arcade should be around $4.99 US. It's about $7.50 our money, which is still good. May I add, we can use it on Family Share, Michael, which is awesome. It means that if I've got it, Mason can have it, Curtis can have it, Michael can have it. You know, it's excellent. They're going to say that the price may change before the launch date, which is sort of mid-spring, and the release of iOS 13. Apple employees are part of an early offer program that comes with free access until the launch date. Then the cost to them after the launch date will be 49 cents, which is about 75 cents our money. You know, just cutting a few zeros. That's a great price for them too, and they deserve it because of everything that's been launched this spring. These guys have done that. Have deserve that sort of, I think they deserve it for free, to be honest, but it pretty much is at 49 cents. I think that's just so they can test the payment systems as well. Yeah. On a side note, I don't know how what's his name, Guilherme Rambo.
Yep.
From 9 to 5 Mac got access as well. Lucky him.
Because he's a little bit better now than us. That's why.
That's right. He is. Hopefully he can add me to his Family Share. That'd be great. I'm going to keep talking about this. This is story 2, but I'm going to keep talking about Apple Arcade because we're so close. We're only a few days away now until the beginning of spring, and we should know more. So, anyway, is it getting closer to the release date? This is also from 9 to 5 Mac.
Yeah.
Some guys have all the luck. Okay. Jeffrey Benjamin was lucky enough to play about 6 of the beta versions of these games that were released with Apple Arcade, that will be released in Apple Arcade in the spring. Seems that my family share may not happen. Some of the games that are sort of that he's got footage of are called Way of the Turtle, Frogger in Toyland, and Hot Lava. There'll be a full list of games in our show notes, and also a link for watchable playthrough. The games look amazing. They really do. Even the beta versions look cool. So I'm looking forward to getting my thumbs a workout when they finally get here. Oh, I'm going to literally just like take a weekend away and well, not away, I'll still be at home. But, I'll lock myself into somewhere where the kids can bash on the door and I'll be a hopeless father for a weekend and play the games.
That's another week.
That's it. That's right. What's another week, Yeah. So, other news, I do have a little bit of stuff. It's not very big. It's only the release date for Mario Kart on like all phones, mobiles, and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I can't remember the date now because I don't have it written down. Give me 2 seconds and I'll find it. Here we go. Oh no, this is so professional. I'm just It's going to take ages to load now. Hi. All right, come on, load. Here we go. No, so September the 25th.
Okay.
You can already pre-order the game on App Store for free. That's right. For free, Mario Kart from your App Store.
So have you already done that?
I have not. I will when I get home. I have been a bit busy today with other things. But I definitely will be doing it today. I love Mario Kart. When it first came out on Super NES, I was still a teenager and just thought it was an absolutely brilliant game, and it was, and it still is.
Still is, yeah.
And so for it to come to mobile devices is just great.
Look the reputation it's got.
Yeah, with Dr. Mario and Mario World and everything like that, this is the next step. So Nintendo are smart. They really are. You've got Pokemon as well and all that sort of stuff. So, I can't wait to get it. So that's it. That's gaming for the week. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. So, yes, now we've got a report about Apple spending money. I know that's hard to believe.
Have they got enough?
Apple's original content... I'll try again. Apple's original content spending hits $6 billion. Apple TV Plus launching within the next 2 months. Now, ahead of the Apple TV Plus launch, a new report from the Financial Times offers new details about Apple's investment in streaming media. According to the report, Apple's spending for original TV shows and movies has spiked to over $6 billion.
Whoa.
Now, the report cites people familiar with the matter and says that Apple's ballooning original content budget is part of its efforts to keep up with Netflix, HBO, and Disney. A report in 2017 said that Apple was looking to spend $1 billion on original content, but has clearly since surpassed that. Now,
g'day, Tim.
Tim, howdy.
Thanks for watching, mate.
Yeah. Apple released its first full-length trailer for The Morning Show, Drama, starring Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell. That show is said to be one of the biggest investments for Apple, with per episode spending surpassing that of the Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Now, there's also a drama starring Jason Momoa. Yeah, is also said to be an expensive show for Apple TV. None of it's expensive, people.
Hello, Kellyanne.
The report from earlier this year pegged that show as having a budget of $15 million per
Did
episode.
you just say none of it is expensive?
Yeah,
Not to Apple, you're correct.
that's right. And we're talking like, how much do you think Netflix is spending, or how much do you think Disney's spending?
Well, that's the thing. So if you have a look at what Netflix has done, they've cut a lot of TV. So they had award-winning shows, and they've just pulled them because they were losing money.
Yeah.
They were hemorrhaging money. And so, yes, Netflix were spending a lot. They're not spending as much now as they were. So I think if Apple is in the game and they're dropping this sort of coin, then hopefully they can give Australian viewers something better than Netflix offer us, because American Netflix offers so much more and we hardly get any of it.
Yeah.
So if Apple can bring that on board and we can get the same as everywhere else.
And the hassle is, because this is a transitioning thing and people sign contracts for 5 years at a time.
Yep.
That's part of the reason why Netflix hasn't got shows that, because people have signed the streaming rights to Foxtel or whatever for Australia. So they've got to wait for those to run out before Netflix can get them back again, for example.
Well, that's it. Well, look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for instance, is a comedy police show on Netflix, made by Netflix. And here in Australia, the new episodes have been played on SBS, and Netflix still hasn't dropped them.
Yeah.
Because SBS have the rights here.
So they must have paid for them.
Yep.
Now, Apple's budget ranks below Netflix's expected content spending, but on the other hand, Apple is said to be winning over many content creators because of how it structures its deals. Essentially, Netflix tends to pay content creators over several years. Apple, however, pays earlier in the process once certain milestones are hit. Now, as for the launch, Apple is reportedly looking to get out ahead of Disney Plus, which launches on November the 12th. And it'll also be interesting to see how Apple do, whether they put Apple Music and Apple TV Plus together, or whether we've got Apple TV Plus and Apple Arcade together as a family deal.
Imagine if they did.
Going to be all,
Imagine if they did Apple TV Arcade Music, like you could just buy it in a package.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. Like you wouldn't need much else. Like I've got Amazon, but I like Amazon because they play older shows.
Yeah,
Amazon's got Blue Heelers, it's got Golden Girls, it's got Addams Family, and so I go there. I also watch The Boys and what is it, American Gods and Good Omens and stuff. I love that sort of stuff too. But Amazon have got the old stuff that I grew up on, as a kid. So Addams Family is fantastic. Trying to get The Boys to watch it when it's black and white isn't so easy, but it's still great.
Oh, if only they knew that's all we had.
I know. My first TV in my bedroom, because I was that sort of spoilt kid, was a black and white TV.
Yep.
And so I was...
The little portable ones?
Yeah, little portable one. It was orange.
Now, here's a good one. British Airways giving all 15,000 cabin crew members an iPhone XR for customer support.
Wow.
So British Airways announced that it has purchased 15,000 iPhone XR units from Apple to distribute to cabin crew. Each member of its crew will receive an XR as part of its efforts to deliver personalised customer service to customers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know Bunnings do a similar thing?
Do they?
Yeah. So Bunnings all have iPods.
Yeah.
So if they're looking for... If they come over to find a price, or they scan something and they've got it in their hard case, and the machine they're using, that's an iPod.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the Apple stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So the iPhone XR units distributed to the British Airways cabin crew will come with preloaded apps that allow crew to easily help customers during flights. One cabin crew touted the partnership as success, even though it is only in the early stages. One of the first cabin crew to receive a brand new phone says the phones are enabling a steep change in customer service. Recently, when a customer realised he had forgotten to order a special meal, he was really impressed when I quickly took out the phone, logged on to BritishAirways.com and ordered a meal for his return journey, all within a matter of minutes in the middle of a flight. Now, the new Phone XR strategy comes to as British Airways has committed to spending $6.5 billion on ways to improve the customer experience. As part of the investment, British Airways is installing high-speed Wi-Fi across its fleet, which will further aid the employees using the phones. They could also take a few seats out to give people more comfort and have more flights, so therefore they don't need as many people crammed into a plane, but what do I know? Now, here's an Aussie story. Federal police fight court ruling as pardon me, as mobile phone is not a computer. Australian Federal Police granted warrant to unlock smartphone, but decision overturned on grounds devices not covered by the Crimes Act. After fighting a federal court ruling that a smartphone is not considered a computer, making a warrant it was using to force a suspect to unlock a phone invalid in August last year, the AFP obtained a warrant under the Crimes Act to unlock a gold-coloured Samsung found in the centre console of a man's car when he was pulled over and searched. The man supplied the password for a laptop also in the car and a second phone and did not have a PIN to unlock, but when asked about the gold phone, he answered no comment and would not provide a password for the phone. He later claimed it wasn't his phone and he didn't know the password to access it. The federal court last month overturned the magistrate's decision to grant a warrant forcing the man to provide assistance in unlocking the phone. That was overturned on the grounds that Samsung was not a computer or a data storage device as defined by the Federal Crimes Act. The law does not define a computer, but defines data storage devices as a thing containing or designed to contain data for use by a computer. They found that phone could not be defined as a computer or a data storage device. While a mobile phone may have the capacity to perform mathematical computations electronically according to a series of stored instructions, it does not seem to apt to call such an item a computer, they said. Don't we all say it's a computer in our pocket? Don't we say that? So
isn't that what? Didn't Apple just say that in their launch?
So
I'm sure they said it's a computer. As they're getting smarter, and they're smarter, they're basically a computer in your pocket. Like
mobile phones are primarily devices for communicating, although it is now commonplace for them to have a number of other functions. Again, the very ubiquity of mobile phones suggests that if the Parliament had intended that they should have encompassed by the term computer, it would have been obvious to say so. But when was the law written? Like, it doesn't say when the law was written. The law might have been written in 1982 before we had computers, let alone once we put it in our pocket.
I think it was written in the noughties, if I can remember correctly.
But still.
No. In 2008, I didn't have a phone that you could touch the screen. So,
yeah.
You know,
in the 90s, what did we have in the? We didn't have mobile phones in the 90s as such.
Yeah, we did. Not
what
really.
The big blocks that
yeah, okay.
The chauffeur had in the front was a phone.
Yeah, I know. I had a Nokia. Actually, it's one similar to the one I got at home.
In the 90s?
Late 90s, early. It would have been. How I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was the 90s. Definitely the 90s. Yep.
Because you've got to remember, the iPhone was 2007.
Yeah.
So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Bit of a challenge for us. Now, also, tonight we brought BLB Creations from what was that famous country town, son?
It is Forbes. No, yes, Forbes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Ben and Lee. I know where you live.
We know where you live.
That's right.
We're
we know where you live.
Yeah, BLB Creations. Check me out on Facebook. That's BLB Creations in Forbes, not in America.
That's right. They're a great little company that make all sorts of gifts and knickknacks and shirts and stuff for baby showers and Father's Day, and
Yes.
check them out on, like Michael said, check them out on Facebook. They're really good, and we recommend them.
We do. I'm just remembering to put something in my list. There we go. BLB Creation of Forbes. Now, here we go. I'm on a new car, Zarn. Can I have a new car?
I was waiting for this. It's like they've got your letter. All of us last week they opened up a letter and it was from Michael Seamons and it said, "Please put Apple products in a Porsche."
Yes.
Oh.
So the Porsche Taycan will be the
Taycan? Yeah, Taycan. Yeah.
will be the first car to offer Apple Music integration. Porsche's, I know it's an electric vehicle, but Porsche's upcoming electric vehicle will have its first built-in application of Apple's new music service. Now, over the past year, we've slowly been learning about Porsche's new Taycan EV. We've heard about the development of new production processes and charging options for the company's first fully electric car.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It
We
looks
rode
cool
shotgun
too.
in the Predator. It does.
Did you say you rode shotgun in the predecessor?
I didn't. Anyway.
Yep.
That the person who wrote the story rode shotgun in a pre-production vehicle on a frozen lake in Sweden.
That would have been amazing.
Is that so the batteries wouldn't overheat? Or no, sorry. Now it goes on sale at the end of the year. I think it's already sold out for the first 2 years.
Sold out.
Yeah,
So you can't get one.
already.
Wow.
And it'll be the first vehicle to feature full integration of Apple Music. A 6-month subscription will be standard with all 2020 Porsche, and the company confirmed Monday people who already have Apple Music will receive 3 months of additional service on their accounts, since the music service will be fully built into the vehicle. Users will be able to tag songs from terrestrial radio and add them to their music playlist. And the Porsche's voice command system can also be used to play songs, albums, or radio stations on Apple.
Wow. Look, if it's not out for 2 years, you can always buy a Nissan Leaf, and with the money you save, you can buy a brand new iPod.
but the new Porsche comes with Bose and Burmester audio systems. Both will be capable of playing Apple Digital Masters.
Wow.
So that the quality will be up there noticeably. You won't have the LP sound of the scratches and things.
Yeah.
Or the tape sound, the old tape sound. But so that you'll be able to hear studio quality tunes from a library of more than 50 million songs. Another result of Porsche and Apple collaboration are exclusive Apple Music playlists for Porsche drivers. I want to know how to get those. How do I tap into them so that I can still believe I'm in a Porsche? Now, in addition to Apple Music, Porsche also announced that the 2020 Taycan will come standard with CarPlay capabilities.
I'm sorry. This is the Porsche playlist. And I was going to say, the first thing that came to my mind is a band called Tism. They're an Australian band, and they're sort of parody-esque. And there's a song, and it just goes, "You're a wanker." And it's the first thing that came to my mind. But,
I love Porsche.
Yes,
I love Porsche.
I know you do. So do I. Actually, to be honest, so do I. I love Volkswagen more, but Porsche are also very cool.
They're
Yeah.
Since before Steve McQueen starred in the Le Mans movie, I love Porsche. So There we go. Now, what about Apple's Home app takes a step back in iOS 13? Apple is upgrading HomeKit this fall with new features like secure video and expanded automation, but it's not all good news for the HomeKit framework. The Home app, where users manage the smart home experience, make one design choice that is likely meant to be more approachable. In practice, the change degrades the experience for a whole category of products. Difficulty managing the Home app at a glance when more than a few accessories are added has been a common complaint. In iOS 13, Apple appears to be addressing this feedback with a change on how individual products with multiple accessories are presented. In iOS 12, each accessory is presented as its own tile, even if it's part of a single product. Now, this can result in a single HomeKit product populating the Home app with a half a dozen tiles. Apple's Home app treats products with multiple accessories different in iOS 13. One product is one tile, even if it includes two or more accessories. Fewer tiles means more usable at a glance, but not so fast. Here comes a step back, because now, like the awesome Eve degree sensor, is a single home product that reaches both temperature and humidity. So now it used to be just available at a glance, but now it's a two-step thing. It says two sensors. Now you've got to hit it twice, and now it shows up the air quality, the humidity, and the temperature. So yes, it's not a simple thing.
Yeah.
It's not in a one tile.
Seems to be a bit troublesome.
Well, I think it's trying to isolate things and keep them together. I think that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So you don't have to scroll up and down as much.
Yep.
And I've been using iOS 13 for the last couple of days because it's been.
Because you got the beta.
Yeah. Because it hasn't had a good reputation. I haven't been able to put it on my Mac yet with the latest Catalina there. Not Catalina. Yes, Catalina. Because it's not quite up to scratch for a machine still, and hopefully we're only a week away from release. So I'm sure they're doing a lot of work in the background. iOS on the phone's been great because that had a few issues earlier on.
Yep.
That's why I've waited so long. But I thought I'd try and get a week in before Apple released it.
Yep.
And it's trying to get your reminders and your shortcuts, like the shortcuts working and that sort of stuff, because there are some slight differences there.
Yeah.
And even to the point where you can get shortcut happening from your alarm in the morning. So when you turn the alarm off, you can actually get things to progress from there. Like it'll read out, I'm setting it up now so that it tells me what the temperature is outside, and it tells me what the temperature is when I'm going to, for example, over to Waverley. So it'll tell me what the expected high and low at Waverley is and what the weather's forecast is for Waverley. Because it's so different between Waverley and Penrith.
Yes, absolutely.
It's stinking hot or beautiful in Penrith, and it's either perfect or freezing cold in Waverley because of the sea breeze all the time.
Let's face it, it's just going to be stinking hot here in Penrith, especially in the summertime. What's the temperature in Penrith? Well, it is 3 inches from the sun, so.
So there's a few things happening there in iOS 13. Dark mode takes a bit of getting used to when you got maps and it's just everything's dark. Like the middle of the day, it's very dark. So I'm just, because I do a lot of reminder stuff. I'm just trialing that and going through that, and it's working well with the. Originally, you couldn't have reminders set up on one machine and on another. You can have iOS 12 and iOS 13 reminders going, but if you're careful, you can do that. You just don't hit the update button on the iOS 13 version.
Yep.
It still updates, but it doesn't send all the extra information, which will screw up the old one. So.
Yes.
Anything else, son?
No, I think that's it. That's all from me.
I'm trying to save up some money to get a Apple CarPlay sound system for the car,
Oh, cool.
which is what I'm going to try and do next.
I was actually looking at them, Apple,
Yeah.
what do you call it? Compatible, like touch screen stereos at Super Cheap.
Yes.
Yeah,
They've got a good one on special at the moment.
they do.
I think it's $375 instead of $598.
That's right. Yeah.
When that sale's over, it'll be going up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're waiting to see how we go.
Yeah. Excellence.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget, look at the links in the show notes, however you've uploaded it, or you can go straight to aussiemaxzone.com.au/AMZ299. No more of all those words. You'll get the last 6 weeks' shows and show notes. Spotify, just search for Aussie Max Zone.
Apple Podcast, just search for Aussie Max Zone.
Yeah, if you like us, tell a friend, or just give us a review, anything like that.
If you'd like us, favourite us.
Please.
Yes. So add us to your playlist. Like us. Give us a rating.
Yes. Don't forget the Audio Roundtable podcast or BLB Creations.
Yep.
But more importantly, you, our supporters, are our listeners.
Absolutely.
Very important people.
You are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Remember, Apple a day keeps the androids away.